Hi students, welcome back. This is plus one computer science and computer application part 2 video. Before getting into the video, please do subscribe. In the previous class we have discussed about generations of computer and sixth generation computing. And now we are going to learn about data and information and components of computer. Now let's get into the topic, that is data and information. So first of all we should know what is data. Data means the raw facts. So it is a meaningless information. For example, data can be a number, a character or group of character, that is string. It can represent age of a person or phone number or ID, roll number and so on, and it can be name of a person, name of a place and so on. So all these are the examples of data. So data is defined as an unprocessed collections of raw facts. When all these data are processed, we do get information. So let's see what is information. Informations are collections of raw facts that are processed to give meaningful, ordered or structured information. So here, to generate the meaningful information, first of all we need data. After the process we do get information. So let's check with an example. Here it is. Solomon is 16 years old. In this example, Solomon is name of a person, 16 is a number, but here it represents age of a person. So when we group all the data, we do get information. So that is the definition. Collections of raw facts that are processed is called as information. So data is represented as input, and after the process we do get the output. Those outputs are information. So collections of unprocessed raw facts are called as data. At the same time, collections of processed raw facts are called as information. So all this process are done by an electronic device called computer. Yes, computer is an electronic device that takes all the raw facts as the input, and based on the set of instructions, that is program, process will be done for the data and it generates the output, and later the output is stored in the memory for the future use. Now let us check the components of computer. Yes, computer is made up of hardware and software. So hardware means physically you can touch and feel the devices. They are called as hardware. And software, you cannot experience that. We can't touch and feel the software. But visually you can see and you can work in the applications. For example, at present you are watching this video through an electronic device. And yes, you can touch and feel the device. It can be your mobile phone or laptop or desktop, anything. And you're watching this video through YouTube application. Yes, YouTube is an application which comes under software. We can't touch and feel the software. So the next topic is functional components of a computer. So before getting into this exact topic, let's check with a real-time example. That is, let's see how to prepare orange juice. So first of all, you need orange to prepare orange juice. So step 1, take orange and peel the skin, and step 2, that is you have to put all the oranges into the blender, mix it up well so that you do get the orange juice. So consider this as the input. Oranges are the input, blender and mixing up is the process, and finally we do get the orange juice. So this is the output. So similarly we do have data as the input. After the process we do get output. So this process is completely in a cycle. We need input, and then after process output will be produced. Again input, process, output. So this is called IPO cycle, that is input, process, output cycle. So this is actually called as the functional components of a computer. So now let us check what are the components of a computer. So look at this picture. Here we do have input unit, and we do have control unit, ALU, internal memory, main memory, secondary storage, and finally output. So look at this picture. This is the real setup of computer. We do have input units, that is input devices. These input devices are connected to CPU. Cable from keyboard and mouse are taken and it is connected to CPU. Same way we do have output devices, that is monitor, speaker, printer. All these are the output devices, output units. They are also connected to CPU. The cable from monitor, cable from speaker, same way from printer, scanner, everything is connected to CPU, that is central processing unit. That's why it is called as brain of the computer. So there are three main components of a computer, that is input unit and central processing unit. That is all this together it is called as central processing unit. Control unit, arithmetical and logical unit, and internal memory, that is memory unit. All these three are together called as central processing unit. And finally output unit. So these three are the main components of the computer. So let's see one by one. First of all, starting with the input unit. So input units are used to feed the data to the computer, which can be stored in the memory unit for processing. So for example, we do have input devices, that is keyboard and mouse. So using all this type of devices, we used to give the data as the input for the computer, and it will be directly stored in the memory unit. And the next main component of a computer is CPU. CPU means central processing unit. And the work of CPU is to interpret and execute software instructions. So this central processing unit is going to control all the operations of all components. That is, it takes care of memory unit, input units, and output units. And here in this central processing unit, we do have three more components. They are arithmetic and logical unit, ALU, and control unit, CU, and finally memory unit, that is MU. Let's see one by one. So in central processing unit, the first component is arithmetic and logic unit. So arithmetic, from lower classes onwards you are learning about arithmetic. That is the basic calculations, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So all these are the arithmetic calculations. And what is logic operation? We do have three main logical operation, that is and, or, not. You will be learning about this logical operation in the next lesson. And the next component is memory unit. The work of memory unit is to store the result. So we do have internal memory, that is RAM. And finally, control unit. It controls the flow of data between CPU, memory and IO devices. So what is IO devices? That is input and output devices. And finally, the output unit. So output units are used to convey information to users in an understandable form. So for example, it can be a monitor, printer, speaker, and so on. And finally, memory unit. Yes, memory unit is used to store the data. And here it is of two types. One is primary memory and then secondary memory. So let's see the pictures of all the memory devices. First one is random access memory. Yes, this is the RAM memory. And then this is read-only memory, ROM. And hard disk, CD, floppy disk, and cassettes. This is magnetic tape. It is made up of magnetic tape. Yes, we have completed all the components of computer. Now look at this picture. Let's see the data flow using input unit, that is input devices like keyboard, mouse. User will give the input to the computer and it directly goes to the memory unit. Yes, data are stored in the memory unit and later for process, control unit will fetch the data from memory unit and it gives to the arithmetic and logic unit. And yes, ALU will process the data and it produce the output. Those outputs are once again stored back to the memory unit. And control unit will fetch the output from the memory unit and it will give to the output unit so that the user can view the data, view the result. This is what the procedure followed in the computer. And in the next class, you will be learning about input devices and output devices. What are the device used and how it works and for what purpose we are using all those devices. So let's quickly get into the recap. We have discussed about data and information and components of a computer. That's all for today. Thank you.